Okay, so I just got this notification like maybe a half hour ago on my phone saying that Harvey Weinstein was sentenced to 20 plus years for his I guess I don't know if they're considering it aggravated assault or aggravated sexual assault or just something like that, but I'm kind of iffy on this thing, man, cuz what I consider rape to be, and I mean legitimate rape. I mean rape that somebody can be prosecuted for fairly. All right, is statutory rape, obviously, where you have people having sex with underage kids who don't know any better, who can't defend themselves, who most likely won't speak up for themselves. That's that, and then also physical rape, or the physical rape slash where you drug somebody at a fucking party or some shit like that, where they have no knowledge of what's happening or being overpowered or something like that. I consider those to be legitimate cases for rape. I consider those to be warranted when we're talking about prosecuting somebody and sending them to prison. Those are legitimate reasons, or those are legitimate charges that you can pin on somebody. Now, when we get into the really clouded, really, really gray area when it comes to rape, okay? I mean, it doesn't take much anymore. Like, you have sex with a girl, y'all have a good time, y'all end up fucking at the end of the night, and next thing you know, when you wake up tomorrow morning, there's a fucking there's a warrant out for your arrest. Apparently, you raped somebody, even though y'all had a good time. It was consensual sex, but like, and I'm not saying that all women do this. I'm not saying that this happens all the time. I'm saying sometimes you're having a good time with somebody, and it can lead to something, and that person may regret it, and instead of them taking it as I made a bad choice, I need to make better choices from now on, they wind up getting a motherfucker in trouble. All right. I believe on this channel, when I discuss the whole rape thing, I even use one of my family members as an example, who was accused of raping somebody even though there was no evidence that he did it, and the person that accused him of doing it later backtracked on the story, but at that point it was too late. And you see guys all the time going to jail for these rape charges that are extremely petty, very, very surface level. I mean, if somebody really wanted to, they could rip that case apart. Because I'm gonna use this as another example. I have a sister younger than me. When she was around 14, 15, she looked like she was about 20 because she was tall. And, I mean, she had kind of like a kid face, but, she looked a little more mature than 14. And she met this Spanish guy, and they wound up having sex. He wound up getting her pregnant. And then I found out that he got brought up on charges of statutory rape. And it would have been fine, but then I found out that my sister told him that she was 19. And when guys are drinking, they're not checking for fucking IDs. They're not. They do the eyeball test. If you look old enough, or if you tell me you're old enough, which is a stupid way to approach it. If you look old enough, or if you tell me you're old enough, you're old enough. I'm not going to go through your wallet looking for your driver's license. But my sister told him, and that's basically entrapment. I don't know. I feel like that's entrapment. If you tell me you're 19, if those words come out of your fucking mouth, who am I to say that you're lying to me? And it gets to the point where guys really need to be smarter and just stop having sex with these random fucking women. Like, I have a niece, man, who was like 14 at the time, 13, 14 at the time. And she was sitting out on the front porch with a friend of my sister's. And there was this random dude that just walked up and started trying to talk to my niece. Dude had to be like maybe 22, 23. And my niece is at like 13, 14. And I had a major problem with it because it's my niece. I mean, I know how old she is. I know she's a fucking kid. But the friend was, he was saying, well, this is how people get to know people. They just walk up to random motherfuckers and start talking to them. Yeah, but she's 14. Like, I don't care. And I had to understand that this dude didn't know how old she was. To be honest, he should have asked. But he didn't know how old she was. And I felt like it would have been unfair of me to judge that guy based on, whatever emotions I was feeling at the time. Because it's my fucking niece. And I can't fathom the thought of her being sexually assaulted by somebody. None of my nieces and nephews, I can't get my head around it if it ever happened, which it probably won't happen because at this point all my nieces and nephews are old enough to pretty much defend themselves or speak up for themselves. But yeah, man, like that was my initial reaction to that kind of situation. And I feel like that's the reaction that people are having about this Hollywood shit where these producers are apparently raping all these women. They're raping all these women. They're raping them like fucking is going out of style, apparently. Now, this is why I'm making fun of it, because I don't believe these women are being raped. Do I think that they want to have sex with these guys? No. Do I think that they're being coerced to have sex with these guys? Sure. But do I think they're being forced to have sex with these guys? No. Do I think they're being forced to do a lot of this degrading shit? No. It's just like when people discuss the music videos thing where they talk about how women are being objectified and all of a sudden men spend most of their time objectifying women. I'm sorry for that. And my thought is, aren't these women old enough to be able to speak up for themselves? If you don't want to be one of those big booty bitches dancing in a music video, shaking your ass for money, degrading yourself, you shouldn't do it. It's like when people look down on a man for getting a prostitute or going to a fucking strip club. Is it his fault that the girl is out there selling her ass? Is it his fault that the girl is up on a pole shaking her ass? To be honest, I mean, you blame the parents. You blame the parents who allowed their child to make such poor life decisions. But no, we demonize men when it comes to these sexual situations, man. Whenever a situation is sexualized and a woman is being looked at as an object and not a human being, we look at the man because it's the man's fault. If women are so strong and if women are so capable, well, how are they ending up on fucking poles dancing, shaking their ass for money? And I had a conversation with somebody about this, and I said, I feel like the only thing of value that these women actually have is their bodies. Because that's that's what they think men want. Like, this is why men don't, oh man, she just want me for my dick. Like, that's why men don't say things like that. That's why men don't think that way. Because men, for the most part, I'm not saying all men all the time, but men for the most part is secure in what they have going on or what they have to offer. You know? The only thing I can see a man being like, oh, she's with me for this reason is probably money. But, everybody loves money. So it's like, that's usually a reason why people do most shit. So, sorry. But for women, the only thing that they have, or the only thing they feel like they have of value that a man would actually want from them is their bodies. And that's the insecurity that they need to get past. Now, back to this whole Harvey Weinstein thing. Most of these fucking actresses that accused him of raping them or doing whatever it is he did to them. I mean, you were desperate enough to sit on a casting couch, trying to make it in fucking Hollywood, trying to be an actress. You sat on that couch. You made the decision to be there. And I'm pretty sure he didn't force them to do anything. I'm pretty sure he laid down the options and they waited. Do I want to be an actress and have to fuck this gross fat guy? Or do I want to not be an actress and keep my self-respect? Do I want to make millions of dollars, be famous, but it comes at the, at the behest of this man? Or do I want to just walk away and move on and do something else with my life? And most of them make conscious decisions. Now, this does not go for every fucking female. This does not go for everybody. Sometimes you have child stars who who developed drug problems because they dealt with these kind of abuse issues, and like the whole Corey Feldman thing, and that's a different story. Okay, but a lot of these women who are like 18, 19, 20, desperate, wanting to be famous, they make those decisions. They make conscious decisions to sell themselves for fame, to sell themselves for money. Is that fucking rape? If that's rape, then the credit card companies, then the banks, a lot of these car dealerships, I mean, these places that pretty much feed off of the desperation of people, is that considered rape? That should be considered rape. If what Harvey Weinstein did was so horrible, all that shit should be considered rape. Because loan offices, okay, the IRS, taxes, all this bullshit, okay, all this shit is rape. Because all you're doing is you're taking advantage of people who don't have any other options but to do what it is you're demanding them to do. The school system, colleges, okay? Especially the school system. I mean, they're raping the minds of the young people, man. Like, isn't that considered rape? Like, I'm serious. Like, isn't that considered rape? If we're going to look at what this guy did as rape, and I'm not saying he's not wrong in anything he's done. He is wrong. I do think he should go to jail. But if we're going to look at this guy and demonize this guy, we need to demonize the entire infrastructure, because there are more issues than old, fat, white guys wanting to have sex with young, pretty women. Okay, there are a lot deeper issues, and why is it? And this is another question I have. Okay, why is rape gender specific? Because it is. Because if you go up to somebody and say, "Yo, somebody raped somebody," their first thought is, "Oh my God, some dude raped some girl." I mean, we totally forget that men can be sexually abused. I mean, why would, all right, so if it's okay for us to hang this guy for what he did, what about that old white guy that grabbed Terry Cruz's dick? Like, what about that guy? Huh? Why did we make fun of Terry Crews? Because he looked ridiculous. Why? Because he's a man? I mean, isn't that what we're supposed to be fighting against? What is it? Gender injustice? Okay? Because there are double standards all over the board for both men and women, but apparently the only ones that seem to be the toxic ones are the double standards when it comes to men. All right, those are the only ones we need to be focusing on. We don't need to focus on the bevy of double standards that women pride themselves on and women benefit off of day after day. The reason why I'm saying all this shit is because rape is a very serious issue, all right? It's a very serious issue. It's a very serious thing. There are people, both men and women, boys and girls, who are sexually assaulted against their will. I mean, from the word go, and they can't defend themselves. They can't protect themselves. I'm not going to say men and women, because if you're old enough, unless you're drugged in some situation, you should be able to defend yourself against rape, or you should at least be able to speak up for yourself. All right, but for these boys and girls who are young kids, man, who are exposed to this shit, I mean, those are the ones we need to be protecting, not these fucking middle-aged bitches who get to the point in their careers where their career is over, and now they decided that they want to put their name back in the fucking news. What's that woman's name? Tracy Gold Ross or Tracy some shit? Tracy Ross. I'm just going to say it because I know for sure her first name is Tracy and she's Diana Ross's daughter. Tracy Ross. She came out with this whole Me Too shit, or she tried to lead one of her little groups, and now this bitch is all over TV again. And that's all it's about, man. It's not about justice. It's not about making the bad guys pay. It's not about that. It's about these motherfucking middle-aged women who are forgotten about to get back into the public eye. That's all it is, man. That's all it is. Because that Tracy Ross woman, I mean, she was in some stuff, but she was pretty much out of the picture. She was out of the picture. And then now that this whole thing happened, now I'm seeing her in damn near, out of every 10 commercials I watch, she's in at least 2 of them. Or, whatever. Like, I don't know, bro. I think that we need to sit back, man, especially us men, man. We need to evaluate this shit. Is fucking bitches worth it? Like, and the reason why I say fucking bitches is that that's just the way men look at it. Like, it's just them. It's like it's a sport. It's them fucking women that they don't, not even necessarily like. They just want to. Okay? Men are stupid in that sense because we put ourselves in some of the worst situations. Now, we could look at a Bill Burr comedy special or Patrice O'Neal old comedy special or somebody like that. And we could sit there and take in that information and act like, oh, yeah, that's how it is. But when you're still making those same stupid decisions and you're still putting yourself at risk, and then if you have a son or somebody like or something like that who look up to you, you are their role model. Because even though we don't like to look at ourselves as role models, man, we're a role model to somebody at some point, and they're following our lead, man. And it's like we're leading the next generation of fucking boys into a trap, which is a shame. And this kind of issue permeates throughout our entire future, and at some point is so deep seated it can't stop. You can't stop it. And women know this shit, and they're taking advantage of it. This is why you see so many unbelievably ratchet ass women all over Instagram and all over with fucking ass shots and fake titties and posing and shit with expensive clothes, nice cars, a nice house. Like, they have all this shit because men are too stupid to realize that you are financing these dumb women. You're financing them, which makes you even dumber. Like, I think when it comes to sex, men are incredibly unreliable because they will always, for some reason, give it up. They will give up whatever it is to just fuck a fat bitch, bro. They would give it up. They would give it up. They would just give it up, and I don't understand why. Like, I'm a guy. I like sex, but sex is not the thing that goes to. I could have a conversation with a pretty woman and not even think about trying to ask her out or trying to anyway work my way into her pants. I can do that. I have that kind of self-control. Why can't we all have that kind of self-control? But that's pretty much it, man. This Harvey Weinstein thing is a bittersweet thing because I feel like this guy did use his position to take advantage of desperate women, which is still wrong. I just don't think it's rape. But I do think somewhere in there he drugged somebody. He did something to somebody that they had no knowledge that it happened until probably after the fact. Or somewhere down the line. Sometimes that shit happens. But all the times that he's probably done this shit, I can't see every fucking time is him forcing himself on to some woman or is him, I don't know, just, you know, like if it comes out that he was doing some Jerry Sandusky shit where he was fucking kids or some shit like that, all right, then I'm a little more comfortable with it. But this right here, I feel like this is a win for women. This is a win for women, and I don't think this should be a win for women. I think it should be a win for just the human race because for anybody that we're looking at as, you know, the bad seeds of society, they should be punished, and it should be a win for everybody, not just for these fucking women who want to get their name back in the media. All right, but I'm done.